Now, let me ask you this question. Does everyone who eats like you, does everyone, I'm assuming that, most of you who have attended are attending to know more about obesity. So I'd like to address you as people, okay, with obesity. For you or it's for somebody else? Does everyone who eat like you and who doesn't exercise like you, are they all as obese as you are? They're not. There are many people who eat much more than you, but they don't put on weight. There are many people who just don't exercise. They don't become obese. Now, this made me to further do my research and find out why is it that some people are putting on weight, some people don't. The only reason medical science says you need genetic. You are genetically cursed. That's why you are. No, I don't believe in that. So I started exploring within homeopathy as to what are the reasons that are given. So I was very fascinated when I studied obesity and the causes which are given under homeopathy. I will start this journey by giving you a small incident that happened in my life, which kind of made me to do some research about obesity. Now, in one of my visits, this was quite a few years back, I went to see a patient. So when I reached, a watchman who opened the door, opened the gates for my car, my attention went into him. This guy was a very old man. He was about 84 years old. He was very lean. He had those long hair, like one of those yogis. He had one white thing put on his forehead. But what made me notice him was his energy levels. So I noticed him, and then I went inside, finished my job, and then I said, I want to talk to this guy. I told the owner, and when I interviewed him, and later I sent my team also to interview him, I realized he's 84 years old. He has been working with this gentleman as a watchman for many number of years, and he's not had a single health issue for a good 10 years. He's never taken an off. He goes for a walk about 2 to 4 kilometers with the dogs, and he does a 12-hour duty as a watchman. So I started to, ask him what are his lifestyle and all that. I was very shocked. Listen, that in the past 8 to 10 years, all he eats and drinks is chai and buttermilk. He does not eat any kind of solid food. I was quite taken aback that how can somebody survive just with chai and buttermilk 8 to 10 years and have so much of energy at the age of 84. So that set me to my research on finding out the connection between the physical body, the energy, and the food. Now, in my practice, I've been practicing for 35 long years, and I've had many people who come to me for obesity. Many in their 60s also come to me. So I asked them, you're 60 years old. How long have you been fighting this obesity? They said, oh, all my life I've been obese and I've been fighting this all my life. I said, okay. So for at least 30 years, you've been fighting this. How successful were you in this fight? Well, you see, when I do a diet, or when I go on an exercise regime, or I go on an intermittent fasting, or I go on an Atkins diet, or I go on whatever, I do lose weight, but I'm back to what I am in a little while. I said, okay, but you're still fighting. How long will you continue this fight? All my life, doc, I'll fight this all my life. Now, my question is, you've been fighting this battle for 30 long years, and isn't it time that you realize that you're fighting a battle that you cannot win? Or at least you're not fighting it the right way. There's something that you're not doing right. Otherwise, this fight is going on. You would have won the battle by now. So let's try and explore how are you fighting this battle wrong. Now, you see, everything in life has got a cause and effect. Obesity that you see in yourself is the effect. The bulge that comes on the body, the fat that you put on is an effect. So you are only trying to fight the effect of obesity. So you do liposuction, you do diet, you do exercise, everything is aimed at fighting the effect, but you are not doing anything to fight the cause. And you cannot win a battle unless you fight both the cause and the effect. You know well, you've been fighting it, so we will not discuss the effect. Let's discuss the causes. Try to become aware of what are the causes and see what we can do to fight the cause or include the cause in our battle against the obesity. The causes mainly, let's look at a few of them. One of them is the medical cause. Now, in the medical cause, the topmost one is the thyroid. Now, medical textbooks do say that when you have thyroid, you put on weight, you have other issues like periods issues, hair fall issues, skin issue, constipation, and all that kind of a thing. But no, you're putting on weight. You don't want to accept the fact that I am putting on weight because of what I'm doing or what I'm not doing. I'm not eating well. I'm eating all wrong kind of things. I'm eating all fatty foods. I'm not exercising. But it's human nature that I want to find something or somebody to blame for my condition. Let's blame the thyroid. So all of us go and get a thyroid profile test done, and a lot of you will come with a finding. Now, those of you whose levels are very high, let's say TSH is 30, 40, 50, 200, 300, they can start on allopathic medications or supplements and their weight will definitely come down. Now, this is less than 10% of the people who are obese. The 90% of them, the thyroid may or may not be there. In those which are there, it is marginally raised. From 5, it goes up to 6 to 8 to 10 to 12 to 15. You're very happy, okay, I found a cause for my obesity. I have something to blame in life, so you start on medication for thyroid. 3 months, 6 months, you don't lose a single gram or a kilo. You continue to be what you are. You are stuck not only with your weight now, but you're also stuck with a medicine that you will have to take all your life. We still don't realize. So most of the people end up with thyroid medication and also continue to be having a obesity problem. The second reason is genetic. It's a well-known fact that, okay, obesity runs in my family. My father is obese, my mother is obese, my uncles are obese. Yes, genetics do pass on from generation to generation, but not necessarily every child in the family is not obese. No, you cannot help genetically transferred obesity. You'll find exactly where your parents have got weight. It could be the upper arms, it could be the lower part of the body, the backside, the belly. After a particular age, you will catch up. But one of the main reasons why you catch up is because of the fear of inheriting what my parents have got. So let me give you an example. I had a family of 4 who used to come to me. The father was the only one who was not taking medicine. The rest 3 of them were taking medicine. The father, every time, those days I used to see once in 2 weeks. Every time he would come, he would say, "Doctor, just check my BP." So I would check his BP and I would say, "It's normal." Next time again, "Doctor, please check." So after some time, "Why are you checking it?" No, just check it. So finally, at the end of a few months, I told him, "Congratulations, you got blood pressure." Now, what happened here? Now, there are many people like this who are scared of cancer and they end up in cancer. They're scared of psoriasis, they're scared of vitiligo, but eventually they end up having that problem. Now, why do they end up having this problem? You see, you need to realize that there are trillions of cells in our body. Each of the cell has an intelligence within them. The body is the slave of the mind. Whatever you tell your body to do, it will do. Jump, hit, run, get up, everything it will do. It will not question. It has the intelligence to take a command, but it does not have the intelligence to think. Has it ever happened that you told your body to jump and the body stopped? Should I not? No. The body doesn't. The cells in the body has the intelligence only to obey an order. So when you constantly dwell on something, my father is obese, I will also be obese. The cells in the body does not know that it is your anxiety and fear that you're talking like this. It thinks that it is a command for it. So it will slowly start to manifest itself like that. It will start to become obese because you're constantly dwelling on it. Anything that you constantly dwell on will manifest. So this thinking plus our watchman and all that made me research further, and I've come across something called a GNM, that is German New Medicine, which causes about an emotional cause behind every disease, every chronic disease. They say there is an emotional cause which is there. So I started to explore. So GNM says that the cause of obesity is basically abandonment, lack of self-worth, which causes that. Let me explain that to you. When I was about 5 or 6 years old, we have four children. My parents left me with my grandmother and they went somewhere else to work. But in my mind, I somehow thought that they had abandoned me. I used to sit on the veranda every night and wait for my parents to come back every night as a 6-year-old. None of my other siblings did this problem. I guess of abandonment. It was in my mind. It was not that my parents abandoned me. But then I grew up with that. I also didn't realize it till I was 50 years old. Now, subsequently, This abandonment feeling in me brought about a sense of hatred towards my father. I started to hate him. I didn't have a good relationship with him. None of my other siblings who were also left with me had any issues. I was the only one who had issues because in my mind, abandonment, it led to anger. It led to hatred. Now I grew up with that till I realized it at the age of my 50 in one of my meditations that I realized. Now what it did to me, abandonment got in a lot of stomach issues in me. I started having irritable bowel syndrome, and my hatred towards my father was so much that I wanted to separate from him. And the day after I got married, I separated. I went off to another house. So GNM says that separation, conflict, wanting to separate causes skin issues, so I ended up in psoriasis. So what I'm trying to tell you is all of us have these kind of conflicts within our mind from childhood which we develop. It could be conscious, it could be not conscious. You may know about it, you may not know about it, but it's important to keep in mind that it is very important. Every chronic disease, see 80% of the diseases are chronic. The modern science says there is no cure for it because they don't know the cause of it. They can only fix the effect, they cannot fix the cause. Let's take, for instance, autoimmune disorder. They say that autoimmune disorders happen because of our own cells fighting against us, but they do not know why our own cells fight against us. So we need to explore where this is all coming from. Now, let me go a little deeper into this because it's important for you to realize what is the cause of your obesity. Why is it that you have a desire to eat a particular thing? There is no inclination to work. There must be some reason behind all this. We undergo pleasant and unpleasant events throughout our life, from womb to tomb. It has been scientifically proven that in the womb, also the child experiences a lot of emotions. So there are many unpleasant events that happen within our life from childhood till now. Some of them you're consciously aware, some of them you're not aware. But let us say you try to recollect an unpleasant event that happened about 10 years back. Recollecting the event is okay. That's the memory. That is the function of the brain and our memory. You can recollect it. But when you recollect it, you also feel the emotion that happened at that point of time. Doesn't it mean that your emotion has got trapped at that point of time? See, today when you look at it, it may be a very silly incident. But at that point of time, it was something huge. And today when you recollect it, the emotion you feel is what you felt then. That means your emotion is trapped at that level and at the level of your understanding. Now, let me tell you this. In my research, I have understood that the medical science may not know why our own cells are fighting against ourselves. But for sure, I know that these trapped elements, these trapped emotions are what are working against us. Now, people call this as an emotional baggage which we carry, or some people call it as karma. So whatever it is important that we release this baggage for us to have a fruitful life, for us to see that none of these emotions work against us. So I've made one hour guided meditation audio, which I'm more than happy to share it with all of you free of cost. If you reach out to me on drmanoj.com, all in small letters, I'll share that with you. It's a 1 hour audio. It's an intense audio. You can go through it and you can explore your trapped emotions. It is important. Now, let me ask you this question. Does everyone who eats like you, does everyone, I'm assuming that, most of you who have attended are attending to know more about obesity. So I'd like to address you as people, okay, with obesity. For you or it's for somebody else. Does everyone who eat like you and who doesn't exercise like you, are they all as obese as you are? They're not. There are many people who eat much more than you, but they don't put on weight. There are many people who just don't exercise. They don't become obese. Now, this made me to further do my research and find out why is it that some people are putting on weight, some people don't. The only reason medical science says you need genetic. You are genetically cursed. That's why you are. No, I don't believe in that. So I started exploring within homeopathy as to what are the reasons that are given. So I was very fascinated when I studied obesity and the causes which are given under homeopathy. There are many causes that are given under homeopathy for the reason. Now, one of the main things is cravings and desires. See, it's normal for all of us to have cravings and desires, but intense craving and intense desire is the problem. The people who are obese, when they try to lose weight, the first thing that comes in this thing is their intense craving. So in homeopathy, I started to explore what are there. So I found so many desires for fried food, desire for chocolates, sweets, meat, alcohol, fatty food, pastry, cheese. These are all the cravings that people have. And homeopathy can remove this excess craving, intense craving, not the craving, the intense craving. It can be removed with homeopathic medications. Now, homeopathy also explores hormonal imbalances, the thyroid, menopause, uterus, ovaries. These things can also cause obesity, and homeopathy has got some good medicines to treat this cause of obesity. Then homeopathy also has medicines for mental aversion for physical work. It doesn't mean that it will give you a jump start and all that, but that extreme laziness, extreme lethargy, these things can be corrected with homeopathic medications. And also what we call as a tendency to put on, the genetic tendency to put on weight can also be to some extent altered if we follow the homeopathic principles. Now, all of you are on some kind of a battle. Go ahead. Whatever you are doing, continue to do it, but add homeopathy in your battle so that we can fight the cause, not just the effect of it.